I can't stop!
Barry Goldwater had a huge interest in UFOs. That's well known, okay? He had a friend who was bombed then back to the Stone Age General Curtis LeMay. Cigar-chomping Curtis LeMay. These guys were friends. And so Barry turns to General Goldwater and says, General, I know you have a room at Wright-Patterson Air Force Base where you keep all this secret stuff. Can I go in there? And then Barry said that the general turned to him and he said, damn it, Barry, don't you ever ask me that question again, because if you do, I'll have you court-martialed because I can't even get in there. That's essentially a direct quote. That's what we're dealing with here.
Well, that's interesting because, and what year is this? When is this happening?
This is 1960s time frame.
Okay, 1960s. And so, but Nixon tells the story of him and Jackie Gleason.
Yeah.
He picks up his best friend, Jackie Gleason, and says, hey, this is in Florida, if I'm correct.
That's correct.
He picks him up and he just drives on to this Air Force base. I don't know which one it was.
Homestead Air Force Base.
Homestead. That's why I have Mike on the show, everybody, because he can finish my thoughts. Maybe
okay.
You're alien.
Oh, yeah.
No, it's
you never know.
Yeah, so.
You know they look like us, right?
But yeah,
they do look like us.
They do look like us.
You wouldn't know it, even like down in the streets of downtown Chicago or in our political offices in Washington, D.C., but that's another thing.
Scary. Well, before you finish this,
Okay.
I just want to say it is interesting that Nixon says, and so does Jackie Gleason more than anybody, he took me into this Air Force base and I witnessed and saw an alien, a dead alien.
Not only one, at least six.
Yeah, and he was just shocked by it, that it literally changed his life forever.
Absolutely.
That's what his wife said. His wife said he changed as a person from that moment. I guess it would be that shocking at that time to see something like that. All right, keep going on.
So, all right, let's continue on here. Now, what evidence do we have of any of this with Barry Goldwater? Okay, so letter to Leonard Stringfield from Barry Goldwater, December 3rd, 1974. Here's what he wrote. This is Barry Goldwater to Leonard Stringfield. I made an effort to get in the room at Wright-Patterson Field where the information was stored, and I was denied this request. So here you go. He's telling us. I've got at least 12 other letters from Barry Goldwater that talk about the exact same thing.
So, when you suggested earlier in the show, hey, listen, U.S. Congress people, senators, go over here. They're not going to get in.
No, they won't.
They won't.
They don't have a high enough security clearance, and they've not been read into the programs.
Okay, and so that is the bottom line. There's a organized group, whatever you want to call them, above the President of the United States that call all the shots. It doesn't matter who the president is, who's the congressman, who are the senators. These guys say, this is what we want you to know.
I like what you're saying.
I just want to be right about this because it's important that we do our homework. This is my theory. This is what I'm
But do you see, Tony, that this entity, which has its own Navy, it has its own Air Force, it is exempt from the checks and the balances of our elected government officials in Washington, D.C. You see how they're playing the game over the Constitution?
Yeah.
They're outside the law, which makes all the programs null and void, okay?
Yeah.
So, because if it's extra constitutional, then these NDAs, they don't apply because it's extra constitutional. So that's what we're dealing with here. And then you throw in the $867 billion that they can't account for, and now you know why Eisenhower couldn't deal with this.
And for that entity group, whoever they are, if I've offended you in any way, I'm sorry. All right, let's keep going. Let's keep going.
You see the connectivity we
have?
Absolutely. That's why this works.
Absolutely. Oh wait, before
you've got to have a team member to bounce things off. That's why this works.
As you keep going into that, let me ask you really quick. I want to ask you this.
I do this all day. I can do this all day.
And by the way, thanks for being with us today, guys. Mr. Michael Schrad, I'm Tony O. All of this is brought to you by unidentifiedchicago.com, where you can get some merch and make donations, because as we are able to make some kind of money here, we want to bring in other speakers. Michael and I will always be doing this, but we'd love to have a Richard Dolan on here. I'd love to bring in Lou Elizondo. I'd like to bring in some of these guys. That'd be great.
It's time for the lies to end.
Yes.
It's over.
Yes.
It's done.
It's time. By the way, there was a guy here on my my thread, and I want to thank everybody that's joining us. Glock 9 God. He was on TikTok, and he just said, "Listen, I just want to see the alien bodies." Well, we're giving you the best that we can, my friend.
Yes, right.
All right, before you go on here, let me ask you a question.
Okay.
What year, for those who are watching the show, everybody, put this on your YouTube, and then Michael will give you probably the correct answer. I'm sure he knows it. What year did President Eisenhower meet with the aliens? And what was that treaty called? Hold on, he's going to give you the answer. This is important because I saw the documentary and the video of this president's granddaughter saying, "My grandpa sat me on his knee and said, 'One day I need you to tell this story.'" So what year did that happen that President Eisenhower met with the aliens?
Allegedly 1954.
Allegedly.
Allegedly.
Are you playing it safe?
Because this is another one of these legendary stories again, right?
Okay.
Because they have reached this incredible status. Where is the physical evidence? Now, they said that they were taking film footage of President Eisenhower shaking the hands of one of these ET races, and they have the interior. The craft was recorded on motion picture film reel. Where is that film reel?
Yeah.
I want to see it just like everybody else.
Yeah, and that literally would absolutely blow the doors off
Absolutely.
everything. Yeah. But that story makes sense to me, Michael, because what's happening in 50 to 52 is there's an explosion of UFO sightings in 1950. 717 to be are called in saying, "I saw a UFO." But more importantly, what's happening over Washington and the Capitol? There's a huge, everybody seeing there, which I think that somehow they said, okay, it's time to meet with their leader, the President of the United States. Let's meet with them, and they meet with Eisenhower. That's why I think there's some credibility to that story.
Do you know why Eisenhower was freaked out and shocked about that meeting, allegedly? Do you know why he was freaked out?
No, I don't know this.
Take a quick guess. Any idea?
They didn't bring any gifts of any kind.
That's good. Okay. These beings, whoever or whatever they were, could go invisible at will.
How awesome would that be?
Like
oh my
in
God.
the meeting, they could go invisible just like that.
That would be so cool.
Yeah.
I mean, if there's one superpower you could have, I think that's the one that everybody would pick.
Right.
You tell us on YouTube if you're watching. Of course, American Foo Fighters is the other channel. We got it on TikTok. We're with Mr. Michael Schratt right now on YouTube. Wait, so you're telling me? So wait. Okay.
And this freaked out the generals, and this is caught on. I believe.
So this is hearsay. No, this is not factual.
It's hearsay, but this is what. Now, if you read Paul Blake Smith's book about this, who's done more research than anyone on this, got to give credit to him. He tracks down all this information, and he makes a very good case that these meetings, and this is not the only time it happened with Eisenhower. There was a second meeting as well, but I'm not going to get into that. But they what freaked out the president like the most was the fact that these ETs could go invisibility at will in the midst of a meeting.
That's incredible, but that helps me understand now this whole idea of cloaking with Bigfoot.
Cloaking.
Yeah,
yes.
They say that Bigfoot can cloak itself. And by the way, I love watching the show Expedition Bigfoot. They're doing a great job. And Skinwalker Ranch, I just love all that stuff. But there's this theory that Bigfoot can cloak himself, and that his best friends are aliens. And so they probably said, "Hey, dude, here, by the way, here, just put this on your chest. Press the button when you need to cloak yourself." But that would be kind of weird to be. They could be standing right next to us right now.
How about that technology?
But we want to thank all the aliens that are watching our show. Brought to you by unidentifiedchicago.com.